Hi everybody, I'm Debbie Bell and I am the instructor for this course. This is the Literacy Academy. This is the first time that we've ever had it online. So I'm really excited to get started. One advantage of it is that you can attend from very far off, which we have some of you that are very far off. And another advantage is you can come to class looking like I do right now. So that is a pleasurable thing, especially given the heat. I hope you all are staying nice and cool. But literacy is definitely a buzzword now. I mean, the International Reading Association changed their title to International Literacy Association. It is not only the buzzword, it's the word that actually draws in funding. So there are grants out there, there are things that you can apply for because of that word literacy. But I think more important than that is that I think it is the fact that literacy means so much to so many people, and really it does impact everything that we do. Literacy is so broad. In the old days, literacy was simply reading and writing instruction, but that has so evidently changed. It kind of bothers me that many schools still offer separate reading and separate writing instruction because the two of them are really married and should be taught together. We're going to go through some best practices during these 2 weeks. The reason that it's only 2 weeks is that's what the Literacy Academy always has been. What you'll see on your screen right now, and let me make it a little bit larger here. What you see on your screen right now is a listing or an agenda for what you'll be doing during these 2 weeks. I know that many classes started today. However, again, because the Literacy Academy has always been 2 weeks and this is kind of a hybrid idea, we have 2 weeks, except for those of you that are actually doing it for online credit. You have an extra 2 days to get the work in. Let's look at this sheet together and you can kind of see what we're doing. It says this year's Academy is offered online to make it more accessible to teachers who find it difficult to attend the classroom setting. And again, it opens it up to a broader audience. Below are the objectives. We're going to look at some major trends in literacy. There's so much going on right now and there's so much literature out there, but sometimes our focus only looks at literature that shares quick, easy, cute ideas, which we're going to look at those too, but I think we need to look at some of the theory behind that, which is the next one: theoretical material and research, instructional approaches to enhance student understanding and application of language and writing, methods and strategies for adapting the classroom environment and the instructional ideas, evaluate and respond to student reading and writing. We're going to touch on that a little bit. That actually could be a class by itself. Integrate technology. We're going to be using a couple apps that you may not be familiar with. Interpret evaluation of student reading and writing. We're specifically going to do writing because most of you have been trained in reading. However, I am going to give you a quick reading test that you can give to preschool through adults to kind of gauge where they are in their grade level accountability. Identify a plan for continued professional development. And I think that's important, especially if you are a curriculum supervisor. Teachers need to have a deliberate plan. How am I going to do this? What am I going to change in my instruction to make sure that all of my students are getting the proper instruction for learning? Okay, so you'll see that there are some expectations here. And this is how you get your PD certificate. And this certificate is more than a certificate. Your name is actually turned into our state literacy board, and which means that you might be called upon at some point to be a PD facilitator. You don't have to, but you have been through this material. Online expectations. The first one is leadership. Those participating in the Academy for the 30 hours credit will be, that's PD credit, will be expected to participate with our PALA network. And you can do that through, we'll do that through discussion boards, and we'll do that through Flipgrid. And this is at your own pace. I mean, you can do it at midnight. I don't really care when you do it, but I think that participation helps develop community. You'll need to fine-tune your interpersonal skills. you know, that's Flipgrid is somewhat different to some people. So it'll be interesting to see that. Technology, you'll need to have access to the internet and Google, since we will be using Google Plus community. That's a great community for working like a discussion board, but we're also going to use Google Chat for particular topics. Google Drive, everything is located in Google Drive. I will be adding some readings to it so that you have these, and I really recommend that you download this Google Drive or save it in your Google Drive in case I should delete it or download it myself. So a Google Drive folder contains the activities, etc. Then other expectations, critical thinking. I want you to read and think critically about the materials. You're only going to get out of this course what you put into it. I try not to choose anything just because it's busyness. I try to choose things that are relevant. Again, I taught school in the public schools for many years, and I've taught all grades, second through high school. So I have a wide experience as far as literacy, reading, writing, and also reading, writing, and history. History is my other area. However, I have taught math, fifth grade math, and I'm certified for every subject through eighth grade because I went through the old program. So that's kind of nice. And so I'm hoping that what we read about literacy impacts all content areas, because all content areas are now accountable for literacy. Then we're going to look at literacy pedagogy. What practices might work for your students? And I want you to share what works best for you. I mean, you are the professionals in the field. And professionalism. And as you continue in your life teaching and developing this professionalism, one of it is looking at change. What's the impact of your instruction this year? What's the impact of your instruction for this unit? Looking at that and being a reflective educator, and how can I change for the future? So we're going to be looking at those things because I think that's what develops us better. At the end of the academy, when all the activities are completed proficiently, each participant will receive a certificate of completion. Let's see, you have those 5 areas. Remember, I told you those 5 areas. Everybody will have one of these in their Google Drive. I don't think I've uploaded them yet because we're just starting, but everyone will have one of these little sheets. And as you complete each area, you'll get a red puzzle piece. Now, if it's a green, it just means that you're still working on it. Okay, a green puzzle piece, it just means you're still working on it. No problem. So anyway, technology, again, you have to have a Google account. If you don't have a Google account, you need to acquire one. And most of you have one because so many schools are using Google Classroom now. And then Flipgrid, we'll be using Flipgrid. I will send you an invite for that. There's nothing you have to do for that. It's a wonderful program that I learned from teachers in the field. The text that we're using is titled Teaching Discipline-Specific Literacies in grades 6 through 12. However, I guarantee you that what we're going to be talking about can be applicable to all grade levels, whether you're teaching college level or you're teaching primary students. So this is kind of in the mid. The reason I chose that one is because it's so multidisciplinary. Other resources will be uploaded at Google Drive. Now, I recommend that you get your hands on that book because the ones in my Literacy Academy last year said it was the best book that they had on their shelf and that they could share it with other content area teachers. However, I'm going to try to scan the chapters that we'll be looking at, and that way you'll have them on Google Drive. So the Academy's planned a week at a time, just so you don't get behind and leave everything till the night before. We actually turn things in. You'll receive video from me sharing material. This is my first attempt at using this particular video app, but that's okay. If you have questions, please use the Google Plus to post your questions because other people may have the answers also. Sometimes I am clear as mud. If you have been in my classes before, they can probably attest to that. And so I got a little funny. Being clear as mud is a deterrent to proper literacy instruction. So let's look at what we're doing. The first thing I'm going to do is send you a Flipgrid invite to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What I'm hoping is that it develops into a network like my Pala people before this. They're on Facebook with one another. They're constantly sending ideas to one another about, hey, look what worked in my classroom, that kind of thing. Sharing pictures on Facebook. Look what I tried in my classroom. So introduce yourself so we get to know you a little bit. And then the first thing we're going to look at is defining literacy. Defining literacy will be on Google Chat, and we can answer and respond to that. What is your definition of literacy? I know mine is probably different because I've been teaching literacy for years, and that definition, even my own definition, has evolved through time. So I think that's important. How do we define literacy? And then rank yourself. I love this activity. Where are you on the literacy scale of teaching? Where are your students? Look at the stages of literacy development. Where do you think your students are? We've never really looked at this before. So anyway, don't worry about the visuals in there. The visuals are blurry, but the text is important. And then you're going to get on Google Plus community and share what you learned from this article. Discuss what your students are doing. What's working, what's not working. Are they where they should be? Are they not? How can we change that? Literacy mini lessons. Everybody's going to do a 5-minute, well, 5 minutes is max, a mini lesson about sharing a strategy that you've used. And I also have the syllabus on our Google Drive folder. There are lots of resources on there, but there are lots of texts that you can use. Let me see. I have Improving Adolescent Literacy here. Anything by Lucy Calkins is good. Some of you have those things. Best Practices in Literacy Instruction. Anything by Frey, his last name's Frey, is excellent. But what works for you? And share that on Google or on Flipgrid and show us how to do it. I mean, it's great to read about an instruction, but sometimes we don't know how to do it. And some of them are hands-on. Please, let's look at the multiple intelligences here. If you can find a kinesthetic idea that improves literacy instruction, let's do it. Literacy lesson 1, those students that are actually taking this for credit will actually share these, and so these are from that text that I mentioned, and so I have the individual listed next to it who will cover that chapter, and I just kind of randomly chose chapters. How you present that is your own choice. Multimedia, if you want to do a video, that's fine. If you want to do PowerPoint that has voice with it, you decide. These people need to decide. So after you sign up for your mini lesson, if you are taking this for core courses, for the 3 hours credit, you need to look at when you're assigned to look at those chapters and share them with us. Because again, I think that we learn more from other people's perspectives. I will also be sharing things at the same time. Those of us that are taking, all of us need to view what the time they put into it. I don't expect you to go long, so please, I like that 5-minute limit. We're all busy. This is summer, so that 5-minute limit is great. If you would prefer that I create a Flipgrid for your literacy presentation, you need to tell me. I can do that also. So it's up to you. You people that are taking it, the participants that are taking it for credit need to decide, how am I going to teach this chapter in a short period of time? And it may be that you have an outline for us to keep. We can share those at faculty meeting. That's great. We want things that we can take back to our teachers to actually share. Okay, then the next week, we're again looking at those lessons, and we're looking at teaching demos. And I want you to pay attention to the very last thing, which is the literacy action plan. The template for this is online, as is the template for the mini lesson. The reason that we have a template is so that you don't forget something and that we can actually run it off and again share it in our PLCs, in our faculty meetings. But literacy action plan is, what are you going to do to change? What is it that you want to work on? If you don't have an idea to work on for this next year, think about yourself as an instructor. An instructor is always a learner. A teacher is always a learner. We're always learning new things. And so think about what it is that you would like to do differently in your classroom. Okay, so let's look at the purpose down here. The purpose of this course is to fine-tune instruction with strategies that create the conditions for enhanced learning in the classroom. Look at things that might make your students better learners, or might make you a better instructor to meet the needs of diverse populations. You will again only reap from this academy what you put into it. So it's kind of an intense investigation. That's why it's worth 30 hours credit. That's a lot of hours credit, and 3 hours of classroom experience or classroom credit. So anyway, that is a brief instruction of this, and I hope that you enjoy it. I think you will once you see how we use Flipgrid. And by the way, this is the old gamification thing, but it works just to see how students accomplish things. I think, what is it that I used to use in the classroom? Not Dugo. Anyway, there's something that they actually use in the classroom, and I will think of it as soon as I'm off of here. So have a good day. I will be sending you the Flipgrid intro. Everything will officially start next Monday, but I wanted to give you this. I'm also going to send you the invite to our Google Drive so that you can get started with that. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm headed up to Murray State to try to get some of these things scanned. And so just let me know, and have a great day. Stay cool. We farm, so it's pretty hot out there right now. And just try to stay cool.